All right, so you knew I couldn't do my first show here without my best friends. So I pulled them in from the Cult Movie Cantina, Our Lady of Libation, Stephanie, and our Angelical Jester, Jestina.
Hello.
And I'm going to do something different with them and everyone since the first episode. No one knows about it. I'm going to read a story to you, and I want you to comment along as you see fit. And so,
all right, talk shit about your story. Got you.
Well, it's not my story; it's a story. I didn't
about the story.
About the story.
Got you.
And we'll probably talk about this more on our show.
Right.
This story is inspired by what recently happened at the Academy Awards.
You mean the smack heard around the world?
The smack version. So that inspired me to do this. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
What if I told you that the first Academy Awards were not created to celebrate achievement in the motion pictures, but rather to keep actors, directors, and writers from unionizing?
Say what?
I believe it.
I'll repeat that again.
I know, I heard you, but it's like, what?
Louis B. Mayer was the West Coast chief of the movie studio that bore his name, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
Wasn't he the one that was horrible to Judy Garland?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Just making that clear.
Yeah. You'll understand where this is coming.
Okay.
And he saw L.A. as his city.
My city.
While not formally educated, he had a business savvy about him.
He did.
And he was a problem solver.
Aren't we all?
There you go.
What you need to be as a movie executive. You need to solve
right.
And he had a problem. You know what his problem was?
Divas.
No.
How do you make divas
You mean
happy?
actors wanted to be paid?
No.
Was that his problem?
Nope, wasn't his problem. His
Was it?
problem was he needed a house.
Oh, this is a personal problem.
This was a problem.
Personal problem.
And not just any house.
He wanted the biggest house in Hollywood?
It had to be a palace.
The biggest house in Hollywood.
Something that announced his status. And that the status of his wife and his teenage daughters.
And also the status of his penis size, clearly.
Which was very small.
Very small. The smallest in all the land.
So
Unlike his palace.
So they picked a place on Santa Monica Beach for his penis palace.
Yeah, the penis palace on Santa Monica
We're going to
Beach.
start calling it pee-pee.
But who was going to build it? I mean, houses need to be built, right?
I'm not sure who were house builders back
At this
in that
point,
day.
you could YouTube it and do it yourself, but he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
Well, this was way before the YouTube.
Well, even if it was around today,
Yeah.
This was
at that
in the
point, he would
30s?
still probably not do it himself.
Right.
Or 20s.
He
20s
would
or 30s.
This is
dirty his
early.
hands.
This is mid-20s. Yeah,
Mid-20s.
1920s.
So there's no YouTube.
I'm just saying, even if there was, he wouldn't use it.
He built his house, sir.
So people need to be houses need to be built.
Right.
There had to be people to do it, from architects to carpenters and electricians.
Right.
And then he had an idea. He thought of the studio. If they needed a set, they just built it overnight. They needed a village, they built it in a week. They didn't have to have the mercy of contractors. He had a studio of builders who could help.
Oh, shit.
The problem was the studio was about to sign an agreement with what soon would be known as the International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees, or IATSE.
Right.
These carpenters, electricians, painters, and all that unionized
right
beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And so he now had to deal with a union. So he had to, if he's going to use labor, he's going to have to secure rates of pay, overtime, things like that.
If I'm going to put people to work, I have to treat them fairly.
And God, you mean I
poorly
have to, they're going to build my house and I also have to pay them?
Yeah.
and give them
The
hours
hell you
with
say?
breaks.
Right. And so it was suggested that instead of using all of the studio labor, he would use some top skilled people and then hire cheap labor for the rest.
For the finishing, yeah.
That's what I want for my palace. Cheap labor. I need some cheap
You can
labor
get
on the
cheap
PP
labor to
palace,
paint.
please.
I mean, let's be honest. You can get the cheap labor to paint.
But at the same
fine.
time, you know
So-
the phrase, you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
True story.
The house was designed he had this idea in January, and so this is how it was done. He He hired a few skilled laborers and skilled people from the studio and got the rest for cheap labor. And then the house was ready to move in a few months by spring.
Wow.
Then it fell apart on top of him, and he cried in his little rumble house.
No, it's a beautiful house. It was a beautiful house.
Is it still there?
Yeah, I believe so. But Louis was savvy, and he was thinking about the union issues he just had. If the studio labor force was unionizing, then what kept actors, directors, and writers from doing the same thing? Now, don't get me wrong. After all, they made terrific salaries as long as they did what they were told. But if they got in their head, if they needed, like, I don't know, health benefits or pensions or, God forbid, a cut of the profits.
Yeah.
That would be
That's
terrible.
I just built this palace. I don't need it to go
No,
away.
we're talking about the actors.
I know. He doesn't need it to go away.
So Mayer created the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. Its purpose was to be a public relations operation that pumped out the message that Hollywood was a wonderful place where delightful and thrilling stories were made to give the folks at home a good time. And awards. You can't forget the awards. People need shiny things and to feel recognized.
Yes, they do.
Give me something shiny. I'll be happy.
So let me
you a nippler?
let me understand. If you're a member, wait a minute. Okay, you can be a SAG and also a member of the Academy now.
Yeah, because the
but back in the day you couldn't.
No.
Would you not?
because there was no SAG back in the day.
Yeah, there
right,
was no
no
SAG.
SAG
So
back in the
the
day.
Academy is like, and SAG is a union. The,
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
the
what,
Academy is not. The Academy is
Not.
just a fake thing.
so you were just like you could be a member because I saw a rumor that Will Smith is resigning.
No, he has resigned.
Yeah, he has.
from the Academy,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can do that.
Yeah, you can totally resign from the Academy.
So okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, he resigned on Friday as of this recording.
Okay.
So, yeah. The story goes that Cedric Gibbons did a sketch on a tablecloth of a man holding a sword to his feet and using it to pin down reels of a film. That became the Oscar. The official name of the statue is called the Academy Award of Merit.
Really?
Yeah, it's not
I
called the
didn't
Oscar.
know that.
It's
Where did Oscar come from?
So a few years later, librarian to the Academy, Margaret Herrick, said that the statue looked like her uncle Oscar, and then the name stuck.
Oh shit!
Or how the story goes. Betty Davis disagrees. She was the president of the Academy in 1941 and claims she named it after her first husband, Herman Oscar Nelson.
Nice. I believe Betty Davis. Let's be honest. Who you gonna believe?
I don't know either of them, so
What?
neither.
You don't know
They're
Betty
both
Davis?
liars. They
She's
both need
got
to stop
Betty
lying.
Davis eyes. I'm just saying.
The Will Smith Chris Rock slap was just the latest in a string of controversies that started from the very first ceremony in 1929.
I believe it.
The first person to get the Oscar was Emil Jannings, who would later produce propaganda films for Nazis.
Oh shit. Okay.
He had won Best Actor for two films, The Last Command and The Way of All Flesh. For both movies that year, he won the award. However, he didn't receive the most votes to win.
Oh, you mean it's like a real political election, like
Right.
a presidential election?
The real
You
winner,
can win without the most votes.
right? The real winner was Ren Tin Tin, an 11-year-old German Shepherd who was rescued by U.S. airmen in France. He starred in 27 films, including 4 that was released the same year of the first awards ceremony. Ren Tin Tin had the most votes, but Meyer thought it would undermine the integrity of the award and gave it to Emil, who was the second place vote getter and most importantly, human.
I'm just saying that I've seen Ren Tin Tin in action, and he deserved that award. He was a fantastic actor and a beautiful German Shepherd.
The first awards, the winners were announced 3 months earlier. For the second ceremony and the rest of the 1930s, the results were given to the newspapers for publication at 11 p.m. on the night of the awards. From 1940 on, it was announced of the night, and that's because the LA Times announced the winners before the ceremony.
What was the first TV publication?
Probably not until the 60s.
Okay.
So from 1940, the LA Times announced the winners and before the ceremony began. So in 1941, and every ceremony after the Academy started using sealed envelopes to reveal and name the winners. Hattie McDaniel, who won the Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal
Gone with the Wind.
of Mammy in Gone with the
Yes.
Wind, making her the first Black American to win an Academy Award. Because of the hotel's strict no blacks policy, director David O. Selznick had to call in a special favor so she would just be allowed into the building for the award ceremony.
Just the
That's
award. Can you
fucked
imagine
up.
that shit?
He gets
That's
worse. It gets
terrible.
worse. She was not escorted to the Gone with the Wind table where Selznick sat with his film leads Vivian Leigh and Clark Gable and Olivia de Havilland, but she was put in a table against the wall.
It's
Far
terrible.
You did a wonderful job. Now sit against the wall, please.
You're winning an
I would've
award,
gone.
but fuck you because you're black. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's how it was. In 1935, Dudley Nichols refused his Oscar for winning for The Informer because of a boycott by the Writers Guild. He accepted the award 3 years later. In 1969, Barbra Streisand and Katharine Hepburn tied for Best Actress. This is the only time this has happened in history. Both actresses had exactly 3,030 votes, so the Academy decided to award the Oscar to both for Hepburn for Lady in the Winter and Streisand for Funny Girl. Hepburn didn't attend, so Streisand accepted alone.
Nice.
In 1971, George C. Scott declined his award for Patton based on philosophical grounds.
I remember that.
He had been nominated twice before and had asked the Academy to reject his nominations both other times.
Yeah.
He felt that how could you judge acting? No acting's better than another, and so
Right.
he thought the idea of awards
And
was
you have
silly.
to appreciate him for that.
Right.
Because it's really like it's based on the piece. Like you can have a brilliant actor not given a great script.
Right.
So
In 1973, Marlon Brando rejected his Oscar and sent California Apache Sacheen Littlefeather to decline the award he had won for The Godfather.
Yep.
Wearing her full Apache regalia, she stated that he would not accept the award to protest against Hollywood's depiction of Native Americans.
I remember that.
Her speech was met with boos from the likes of Clint Eastwood and others. John Wayne had to be physically restrained to keep him from attacking her.
Jesus.
The speech lasted 60 seconds, but she read Brando's full 15-page speech backstage. In 1974, photographer and gay rights activist Robert Opel stormed across the stage naked.
I remember that one too. that popped up actually on my Facebook page.
He pretended to be a journalist before stripping down and running past David Niven, who was introducing Elizabeth Taylor.
Also, streaking in the 70s was very popular.
Was a thing. Yep.
It was. So that I feel like that was just par for the course in the 70s.
Niven laughed as Opel flashed the audience and threw up a peace sign. Niven laughed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was almost bound to happen. But isn't it fascinating to think that probably the only laugh the man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing off his shortcomings.
But up bump.
Later, when asked about it, Opel said people shouldn't be ashamed of being nude in public. And besides, it's one hell of a way to launch a career.
Hippies.
In 1989, Rob Lowe sang a modified version of Proud Mary with Snow White, which was so bad Disney tried to sue for infringement.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yep.
Here's some fun facts about Oscars. Citizen Kane is considered by many as the most groundbreaking and greatest movie of all time. It only won Best Screenplay. It lost Best Picture to How Green Was My Valley.
Fun fact: never seen Citizen Kane.
It's great. It's
Mhm.
I think anybody who likes movies should see it once, and then if they want to see it again, after that's up to them.
I should.
I
It's
saw
never
it.
come about.
I saw it once and was like, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it rough? Is it like a hard movie to watch?
No. It was made in 1941, and it's groundbreaking it's the first movie that tells the story out of order. It's just Wells does all these firsts,
Right.
And so-
Orson Welles
and
is
so
like great.
and so
but-
it's like it's a good movie.
I didn't
But
know if
there's
it was like
there's-
emotionally
no.
hard. That's where you're like,
let's
I
put it
watched
this
it
way: there's a
once.
lot of quotes from it. It's a thing,
I
but
guess
I've
the
never
one.
seen it. Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock never won an Oscar.
He should have.
He was nominated for Best Director 5 times, but never won. He was honored by the Academy
Did
with
he not get Lifetime Achievement?
He was honored by the Academy with the Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award, which is an honorary award given to creative producers whose body of work reflect a consistency of high quality of motion picture productions. The award isn't an Oscar. Instead, it's a trophy with Thalberg's head.
Oh, that's terrible. He should have got a Lifetime Achievement Award.
He should have, but he didn't.
Samuel L. Jackson got one. Why
Yeah.
couldn't like Hitchcock?
I gave it to Samuel instead. In 2000, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, best known for South Park, attended the Oscars as they were up for Best Song for Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
Yep.
But they wore versions of dresses worn by other actresses. Parker wore a dress that Jennifer Lopez wore at the Grammys, and Stone wore a dress that Gwyneth Paltrow wore to the Oscars the year before. 3 movies have tied for having the most Oscars. I'm not going to ask you what the movies were, but I want you to I want you to guess how many Oscars have they won total each film.
Okay.
They've won the same amount. So how many Oscars do you think has the most Oscars? Like which number?
12.
12.
I'm gonna say 9.
9.
Gonna say 5.
11.
Oh, it's close.
Okay.
Look at me go.
The 3 are Ben-Hur in 1959.
Yeah.
Titanic in 1997.
Mhm.
Oh shit.
And Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King,
That
2003.
yep.
Wow. One of those sounds familiar. I wonder why.
Most nominated films with no wins. So this is an order of the nominations.
Okay.
So The Shawshank Redemption in 1994.
Should have won everything.
What had 7 nominations, 0 wins.
Which is crazy. That movie is brilliant.
The Elephant Man 1980, 8 nominations. no
That
wins.
Scared the shit out of me.
Gangs of New York 2002.
Also
That
should have
should've
won
won.
all the Oscars.
10 nominations, no wins.
Should have won all the Oscars.
True
Great
Grit
movie.
2010.
Never seen it.
10 nominations, no win.
Never seen it.
American Hustle,
Never seen it.
10 nominations,
That's a
no
good one. I
wins.
could see some wins.
The Turning Point from 1977, 10 nominations, no wins.
Also, I've never seen it.
And The Color Purple, 1985, 10 nominations,
That-
0 wins.
You know that's my favorite movie of all time,
I
right?
know.
We've talked about this. Color Purple, literally the only movie that I can watch every single day.
Who has won the most Oscars?
Like as a person?
Marlon Brando.
You say Brando.
Oh God, I have to think of
Ooh.
somebody.
Sure.
Steven Spielberg.
Spielberg. That's good. Good one.
Coppola.
Walt Disney.
Oh,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
Oh, I believe that.
Duh.
He has 22.
Duh.
Yeah.
The aforementioned Cedric Gibbons, who designed the Oscar, and he was a production designer. He won 11, but he was nominated 39 times.
That shouldn't be allowed if you designed the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Not the game, just the award.
It's the game. It's the game.
It's a game.
You
just
know
gotta
it's the
hide
game.
it.
Edith Head, costume designer, won 8 times. Katharine Hepburn has won 4 wins.
I love Catherine Hepburn.
the most of any actress. 3 men have tied for the most wins of an actor at 3 each. That's Jack Nicholson, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Walter Brennan. In the end, Mayer's dream of keeping unions out of the creative side of Hollywood didn't work. Depression hit, and they helped the union cause. So by the 1930s, they had all unionized. However, the Academy Awards, with its flaws and its pretentiousness, lives on every year, regardless of how many Oscar so whites, Me Too's, mispronounced names, wrong winners given, and yes, slaps in the face. That will happen. So a little bit about the Oscars today.
Nice.
Thank you for sharing.
Sources: the house that Mr. Mayer built inside the union-busting birth of the Academy Awards from Vanity Fair, February 12th, 2014. A brief history of the Oscars and its evolution from award ceremony to fashion event, Arcadia Publishing, and Oscars' first black winner accepted her honor in a segregated no blacks hotel in L.A. Seth
So sad.
Abernethy, Hollywood Reporter from February 19th, 2015. So go look those up and watch that.
Thank
There
you
you
for sharing.